this is kind of a historic entry point because all of the risk has been stripped off the asset. Like, you pretty much know Wall Street's going to embrace it, the U.S. government's going to embrace it, and banks in the U.S. going to embrace it, which means that all the other banks will embrace it. You already know all those things, and yet the market is really skittish based upon concerns about tariffs. You know, the disposition of the U.S. economy, the interest rate forward graph, and so you see the interest rates have pulled in 30, 40, 50 basis points, and we're in this macro risk off zone. When that flips, I think Bitcoin will rip forward with a vengeance.
Now, you said Wall Street's going to embrace it, and that is true, but still, it's limited. I've been talking to these RIAs here. Many of them are very interested in Bitcoin, but a lot of them have questions when I walk around and say, what do you want to hear from Michael Saylor? They say, well, we're still concerned about suitability issues. We still have issues about recommending them to our clients. This is still a real concern. What do you say to those who are still concerned about suitability?
The only asset endorsed by a president of the United States in 50 years is Bitcoin. I mean, go back in the last 200 years in the history of the country. And I think if you go to the founding fathers, they wrote in the Constitution that money is silver and gold coin. And then at some point there was a chicken in every pot. And maybe with the founding of Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, we endorsed everybody to single family home ownership. But in the 21st century, you have just one asset, Bitcoin. The president saying, don't sell your Bitcoin, saying more than that, saying the United States won't sell us Bitcoin. And so everything else you put your client into, if the US government seized any other security that you sold to a client, if they seized any collectible, any art, any real estate, they would sell it. The only thing that the U.S. government won't sell if they are to seize it is Bitcoin.
Hey, what's going up, bull runners? Welcome back to the channel. Imagine this. You're sitting there watching your crypto portfolio, waiting for the one big move that could change everything. But something's wrong. The numbers aren't budging. The tension builds. XRP holders, you feel it. Another day in the Ripple SEC lawsuit. And the price? It's stuck. Meanwhile, a London fund manager whispers a secret. There's a puzzle holding XRP back, and it's not what you think. Then over here, Michael Saylor's plotting something massive, selling 5 million shares to scoop up more Bitcoin. What's really going on? The crypto world is shifting under our feet, and if you blink, you'll miss it. And today we're peeling back the curtain on these mysteries, why they're keeping you up at night, and what they mean for your wallet. The clock's ticking because every second counts in this market. So stick with me and I'll break down step by step in today's crypto news. Plus, here's the kicker. Hang until the end and I'll give you a sneak peek into Altcoin Pro University, where our community of traders are absolutely crushing it. And if you're like most people who don't have the opportunity to spend hours a day in the crypto news like we do here on this channel, make sure you subscribe today and we'll bring that to you every single day. And if you are feeling bullish about this current bull run, let me know by commenting 777 down below. And we will also be jumping over to X, find out all the breaking news that's happening in crypto world today. We will also be jumping into the XRP charts to look for the next support and resistance coming in against XRP. We'll also be taking out the short-term momentum and long-term momentum waves. We'll be diving into XRP to suffer more with the delay in the SEC lawsuit. And XRP puzzle, a London fund manager is breaking down why price isn't moving. We'll take a look at the upcoming major news that'll be happening tomorrow that could affect the markets, and dive deeper into Michael Saylor's strategy to offer 5 million shares to buy more Bitcoin. But first, let's go over to CoinMarketCap and take a look at the overall health of the crypto market. Right now, market cap for total market is $2.68 trillion, only $70 billion worth of volume.
April 15th, 2025. This is a huge date because it's the deadline for 2 high-paying tax credits that you probably haven't heard about, but you can still get if you take action right now. We've partnered with the relief consultants who are experts in the tax code who've recovered over $100 million for their clients so far. So if you're a business owner or an entrepreneur, listen up so we can get you help and reach our goal of recovering $10 million for the Bull Runners community before the April 15th deadline. So here's how it works. If you're a business owner who had employees in 2021, then you qualify for an average $150,000 check from the Treasury and possibly more with the Employee Retention Credit Program. So if you were told in the past that you don't qualify, get a second opinion now through the link in the description below this video, because there are rules and regulations that have changed just recently. So there's a high likelihood that you do qualify now. And if you sold your business or you shut it down, you still qualify as long as you were active in 2021. So don't miss out. Schedule an appointment with the link below. Just click business owner with employees if it applies to you. There's also a second tax credit that also ends April 15th. So this is for the bull runners who are self-employed in 2021. So if you were a 1099, not W-2, and self-employment was your primary income, the Treasury check for this tax credit can go up to $32,220 with an average of $17,000. So if you were self-employed in 2021 and want to see if you haven't claimed this credit, which nobody has from our community thus far for some strange reason. We've been talking about this in several videos. I don't know, man. Maybe you just want the Treasury to keep your money. But if you want to get money back in your pocket, then schedule a consultation. Don't be lazy. Do this right now before April 15th through the link below. Just click self-employed if you think you qualify for both credits. Let the rep know on the call. And by the way, if you have your tax returns from 2020 and 2021 for this credit, it will be a faster turnaround for you. So have them ready on your call, and they can literally tell you if you qualify on your first call to get you paid. So if you need more money back in your pocket for this bull run, take action right now, click the link, and let's get you paid.
And if you've been following along, we're really waiting for us to get above $3 trillion again, so we feel that momentum coming back into crypto. Fear and greed index currently sitting at 25. So it is slowly starting to move up, because if you remember last week, we got all the way down to 15 in extreme fear. Yesterday, 22, which was fear. And today, still in the fear section here at 25, trying to make its way back up into neutral. Altcoin season index starting to climb up just a tad. We're at 20 right now. Last week was a 16 and yesterday was a 19. And one of the things I've been keeping a very close eye on is the crypto ETF tracker. As you know, during this decline, we've been extremely hardcore on the sell-off. Yesterday, we did have a positive day for Bitcoin inflow, which is very positive, $150 million inflow. And if we take a look at the weekly charts, it's been nothing but sell off, sell off, sell off since the top at the beginning of December. As you can see, the volume of the ETFs continue to drop. Now we are potentially on our way back up to the upside. As we can see right here, after the first momentum week of October 6th, we started making those big moves in ETFs when the massive amounts of volume were coming into the market. Is this the turning point? Top 5 trending coins on CoinMarketCap right now. Number 1 is Pi. Number 2, BMT. Number 3, Solana. Number 4, X. Number 5, API3. Top 5 cryptos by total market cap. Bitcoin, number 1, 1.6 trillion. Ethereum at 228 billion. Tether at 143 billion. XRP at 130 billion. BNB at 90 billion, and Solana wrapping it up at 63 billion. Taking a look at the major news coming out this week in the United States financial markets, we can see core retail, and Empire State Manufacturing all did not hit their mark. Tomorrow, we have a major situation coming out with the federal funds rate announcing. The forecast is 4.5 and previously 4.5. We would really hope for a reduction in interest rates so we can start to pump in some more liquidity into the total markets. We will also see the FOMC economic projections and the FOMC statement all tomorrow. And then Jerome Powell will get up and talk about the whole situation. Then on Thursday, we also have the unemployment numbers coming out. With positive news for unemployment, we could see a nice pump for Bitcoin. Heading over to X to find out the breaking news. Michael Saylor, as you saw in the intro, talks huge about Bitcoin, but he does obviously omit the fact that we do also have a crypto stockpile that does also hold other coins. And in exciting news, we all have been waiting for a potential Ripple IPO. The XRP market cap could hit $500 billion once Ripple does go public. BlackRock CEO Larry Fink is worried that America is about to run out of electricians. So if you're looking for a career out there, maybe a good time to start studying on how to become an electrician. And I saw this post. It was pretty interesting. I would like to take the poll with you guys here as well. Okay, Twitter, I need your help settling something for me. I was doing a deal with someone and I had to pay them $100,000. I paid the money, but I sent it in $100,000 worth of Ethereum 4 weeks ago. He didn't stable the money and insists in sending me the Ethereum back now that the deal fell through. He goes on, I'm taking the stance that he asked for $100,000 and not 44 ETH, and that he has to return the dollar amount that I sent him, that he should have stabled. What do you guys think? Do you think he owes $100,000 cash value, or do you think that that person owes 44 ETH back to the original deal? Let me know down in the comment section. I said he owes $100,000 because that's what the deal was made with, and he did pay in Ethereum. But you could also see the counter argument for 44 ETH needing to be sent back. So again, let me know down in the comments. And just in, President Trump's executive director says, we want as much Bitcoin as we can get.
Well, we delivered on the president's promises that he made on the campaign trail. The president was adamant about creating the SBR. We wanted to make sure that we did it right in a way that respected Bitcoin for being so unique, and also gave credence to innovation in other spaces of the digital asset world. So, for us here, we look at Bitcoin. It's not a security; it's a commodity. It has intrinsic stored value that's traditionally accepted. It has, as David likes to describe, the immaculate conception. There's no issuer. And, that's why, as you saw in the executive order, we compared this to digital gold. It's something that's imperative for the United States to have, retain, continue to build on. And I think that's worth pointing out that, the way that this is constructed, we talked about ways of acquiring more Bitcoin in budget neutral ways that won't cost the taxpayer a dime. And what I like to say about this president, I think it's high time that our president started accumulating assets for the American people, which is what President Trump is doing, rather than taking it away. And I think that's one thing that we really wanted to make clear in this executive order. And we're looking forward to working with our partners at Treasury and Secretary of Commerce in order to find those budget neutral ways in which we can acquire more. I've been asked all the time, it's like, how much do you want? I said, well, that's like asking a country, how much gold do you want? Right? I mean, as much as we can get.
And also breaking, Coinbase has added over 300 million XRP to its reserve wallet. And also, if you're not following us on Twitter yet, or X, make sure you head over there at BullRunners HQ. Look for the BullRunners with the check mark here. Put out a post. Do not sell your XRP until the below happens. Now, this is not financial advice, but number one, RLUSD is released. Check. Number two, Trump inauguration. Check. Number three, Gensler leaves the SEC. Check. Number four would be the Ripple case ending, still up in the air. We're going to talk more about that in the coming article we talk about in this video. Alt season start definitely hasn't happened yet. Ripple named big bank partnership. Obviously, they've had a ton of those, but not a Federal Reserve style bank. And then, of course, number seven, the ETF approval. Only 5 steps left. Be smart, not stupid. And speaking of SEC, what are we waiting for? The Trump's SEC chairman nominee, Paul Atkins, inches closer towards becoming the SEC's new leader, with the Senate hearing reportedly planned for March 27th, according to Semaphor's Eleanor Mueller. And just in, Bitcoin and crypto companies are seeking to become national banks under this administration, per Reuters. Justin Sun making a huge announcement for Tron. TRX will soon be on Solana, ready to buy and collaborate. And alert out there, Microsoft just found a new remote access Trojan going after crypto in 20 different wallet extensions on Google Chrome. So be diligent out there. 21 shares applied to launch a Polkadot ETF on NASDAQ. And Strategy announces it's selling more stock to buy Bitcoin. Sailor is unstoppable. So before we jump over to the XRP headlines, let's talk about the 5 million share sell to buy more Bitcoin. Strategy plans to offer 5 million shares of the company's Series A perpetual Strife preferred stock and use the proceeds to purchase more Bitcoin. In an announcement, the company said it intends to use the proceeds for general purposes, and this includes working capital and acquisition of Bitcoin. However, the company said that it's still subject to market and other conditions. According to Strategy, the stock will accumulate cumulative dividends at 10% annually. The company also noted that stockholders would receive dividends on the stock quarterly starting on June 3rd, 2025. Strategy said it could buy back all of this stock for cash if the total number of shares left in the market dropped below 25% of the issued amount. And Strategy is still on a buying spree. The announcement follows the company's smallest known Bitcoin purchase on March 17th. the company announced that it did purchase 130 Bitcoin worth $10 million in cash at the average price of $82,981. Strategy's Bitcoin holdings near 500,000. Since the first Bitcoin investment, the company and its subsidiaries have accumulated 499,226 Bitcoin at an aggregate purchase price of $33.1 billion. The coins were bought at an average price of $66,000 per Bitcoin, including fees and expenses. If the company buys 774 Bitcoin, about $64 million worth, its total holdings would reach 500,000, and this would be 2.38% of the entire Bitcoin supply. The company remains the largest corporate Bitcoin holder in the world and is still up by over $8 billion on its Bitcoin investment despite the recent market downturn. So Michael's strategy has been very positive and very beneficial thus far. We do need to see a turnaround in the market for them to really start to make some profits. But the interesting thing is his strategy has really started to develop some momentum among other corporate companies out in the world, and they're starting to do similar. Obviously, everyone wants the price to pump. Bitcoin, XRP, every single coin out there. But what's the puzzle? Well, London Fund Manager breaks down why the price isn't rising. Banks and other financial organizations are becoming more interested in XRP, while some contend that the usage of Ripple's private ledger conceals XRP's actual value. Others attribute it to issues with liquidity and market sentiment. Private ledger may be limiting the price growth. According to Digital G, a former fund manager in London, Ripple's usage of private ledger for institutional transactions may be the reason why price of XRP has stagnated. Digital G asserts that banks might be acquiring XRP in substantial volumes on a concealed ledger instead of the public ledger XRPL, keeping these transactions out of the public market. This separation could explain why increased adoption hasn't translated to higher prices. And in that post, he also included some information here. Private ledger, Ripple's CBDC ledger. Ripple has developed a private version of the XRPL for central banks and financial institutions. The private ledger is designed for central bank digital currencies and enterprise use cases. It offers more privacy, scalability, and control compared to the public XRPL. The ledger can process thousands of transactions per second. Digital believes that later this year, the merger between the private ledger and the XRP ledger could take place, which could jack up the value of XRP. Ripple's main goal in private record and defined by large-scale transactions between institutions and central bank digital currencies, this configuration makes it more difficult for banks to see how XRP could be used in different situations, even if it simplifies things and boosts security for them. Some argue the lack of openness might lead to problems with regulation. So there's always been rumors about the different price on the private ledger. Now, is that a rumor? Or is it true? Let me know what you're thinking down below. XRP to suffer more with the delay in the Ripple case. XRP price in the crosshairs. Since the SEC lawsuit was initiated in December of 2020, it has mostly impacted Ripple Labs' business and the price of XRP. However, as Bill Morgan noted, the continuing uncertainty about the end or continuation of the SEC versus Ripple appeal will eventually increasingly exert a negative pressure on XRP price. And I'm sure you all agree with that. We know that we've had these issues because of this lawsuit. While XRP has seen a major breakout over the past few months, proponents believe it is trading below its projected expectations. Many believe that XRP would be the second largest digital currency if the lawsuit had not suppressed its price. With potential resolution in sight, top community members are holding their breath to see how high the coin can actually go. While many anticipate the price action and other ecosystem have warned of tempered expectations, as any lawsuit-induced rally may be short-lived. The Ripple lawsuit end is imminent. Since taking office in January, new interim SEC President Mark Ueda has spearheaded a massive shift in enforcement action. Per his policy shift, the SEC has ended its lawsuit against Coinbase Exchange. Other top crypto firms in the regulator's crosshairs have also been in an end. These include Uniswap, Robinhood Crypto, Kraken, among others. In line with these trends, experts have projected that an end to the Ripple SEC brawl is imminent. However, the timeline remains unknown. A recent report hinted that both the SEC and Ripple lawyers are ironing out the details of the settlement so future crackdowns will not occur. Checking in on XRP on the weekly charts. We'll do the daily charts as well. Taking a look here on our weekly spider lines breakout. If you're not familiar, if you take a ray and you connect it from the weekly top of the candles and connect it to the center point of April 21, it shoots out a line into the future. And those have been very, very accurate as far as determining supports and resistance, as we can see right now. So right now we are back at that support level of $2.23. It did bounce off of it today. Our short-term upswing for the momentum wave, the shaft trend cycle, is still heading to the upside. However, we have still remained bullish on our long-term trend cycle down here, which is the wolf pack momentum. Until we break back above the zero line, we won't be considered in bullish posture on the daily, but we will continue to follow that. On a larger time frame, such as the 3-day time frame, we are back at base level of 0, and we would love to see a nice turn back to the upside so we can have an explosion in price, as we saw here when it dipped to 0 and made its move to the upside back in the beginning of November. As we see here on the daily charts, we have support at $2.23. In fact, it bounced off of that level today. If we lose that, there is a very good likelihood we come back down to $1.91. And if we lose that, there's even possibility of a more significant drop into $1.50. On the plus side, however, if we start to make our move to the upside, we are going to be running into this resistance level, which was support of our symmetrical triangle. But unfortunately, we have lost that support multiple times now and rejected off of it as a resistance here at $2.45. However, if we can get some momentum and volume coming back into the markets, we did see today there was good news with the ETF inflows to the positive side for the first time in weeks. We have major financial news coming out tomorrow. If it is positive, we could see an explosion to the upside. Our next resistance level is going to be 250. After we can break that and make that a support level, then we would get up to 280, 290, then the $3 level. When we take a look at a smaller time frame, such as the 12-hour time frame, we can see we did try to make it back above the zero line and turn bullish. Unfortunately, we have rejected with a hidden bearish divergence at this level. And if we go down to the 4-hour time frame, you can see we bounce nicely off of this level right here as a support from the spider line. However, we have dipped under the zero line into a bearish scenario. So what we would need to see is an immediate turnaround over the next 12 to 24 hours, breaking back above that level, getting into the green. As we saw here, the whole time it was in the green, we had a nice move to the upside. And also here, breaking above green, nice move to the upside. And our short-term momentum wave has also zeroed out, so we can simply have a move to the upside, which, as you saw here last time it was zeroed out, it started making its move up before finally making some actual price volume gains to the upside. So as price action continues to go to the upside and this short-term momentum wave also continues to move to the upside, we can get back to that 250 attempt at breaking this resistance, make that a support, then move to the next level of 280. So the next 24 to 48 hours have huge implications on what's going to be happening in the total market for crypto. Hey, bull runners, are you feeling FOMO about this bull run without the right financial support? We're here to change that. We're not just about funding, we're about growing your business together. Whether you're investing in crypto, kicking off a new startup, managing your existing business, or looking to expand, we have personalized funding that meets your exact needs. Imagine starting your business or getting capital to invest $100,000 to $250,000 at 0% interest. That's not a dream. It's what we do. We've helped countless entrepreneurs like you with 0% interest funding without needing personal funds, income verification, or collateral. With just a 680 credit score, you qualify. We understand that your business can't wait, so take advantage of our quick funding approach. We look beyond the credit score with inclusive approval process that sees the big picture of your business or investment potential. Our flexible repayments are tailored to match your business cycles, ensuring you can manage repayments without strain. With access to our extensive lending network of over 5,000 options, we're committed to finding the perfect match for your business or investing needs. Plus, you'll have our dedicated team by your side, guiding you through every step of the funding journey. Whether it's buying crypto, hiring new employees, or launching a new product, we're committed to your success. Click the link to connect with our expert advisors and secure your business's future now.